Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Skylar Hughes, and you are listening to The Bird Herd. Joining us today is the president of Redbird Esports, Jack Blahnik. Jack is a criminal justice major, graduating here in a few weeks. How are you doing today, Jack?
Glad to be here. Doing well.
All right, tell me about yourself a little bit. What outside of gaming do you like to do? Do you have any interesting hobbies?
I think it's interesting. I used to play clarinet for probably, 10 years. I started in fourth grade, went all the way up through college, sophomore year. Besides that, my biggest hobby has been trying to grow esports and get into that. I love League of Legends. That's the main game I play. Although as of recently, I haven't had a whole lot of time to play it. But yeah.
What got you into gaming and esports?
When I stepped foot on campus my freshman year, I know I looked for a League of Legends club. I had been playing in high school. I think it was around silver at the time. I think I hit platinum too my freshman year. And I knew I wanted to be on a team. And I wanted to see what it was like to play competitively, so I joined. And I saw what we had, and I knew that I wanted it to be more. And from there, well, the rest is history. That was my real introduction to taking gaming more seriously than I had been in high school.
So take me back to the start. When you walked on campus, what exactly was Redbird Esports at the time?
So Redbird Esports wasn't called Redbird Esports. I think it was called League of Legends Club. At the time, you signed up for tryouts. We had tryouts a couple weeks after the semester started, and it was predominantly that. The school year went on, and then the spring, myself and another member were handed the keys to the club and said, good luck, run with it. And we had to kind of start brainstorming. So throughout the summer, we rebranded to Redbird Gaming. We put out a Facebook video, explained the goals that we had coming in. At the time, we quickly realized once the semester started that following year that we were way in over our head and could not handle the amount of time and work that we would have had to make it good. So we rebranded back to Redbird Esports and only focused on mainly League of Legends and Overwatch and Rocket League, I think, were the three main games we focused on from there. And then slowly as time has gone on, the last couple of years, we've tried to expand into more titles like Counter-Strike, Smite, and Rainbow Six.
When did you know that you had something like special?
I guess I knew that once I was able to get a board of 5-6 people that shared the same vision that I had, we were able to actually get a faculty advisor. That proved to be a very hard challenge for some reason. Once we got one, we were actually able to start getting the ball rolling, and for me, that was getting a place on campus to play. We were able to get that in Milner. Paul Unsby was very integral in getting that created for us. Same with Tyler Emkin. He kind of got the conversation started. I had a conversation, I guess it would have been my sophomore year, over in Julian Hall. I remember I showed up to this little hallway. I was waiting for the meeting to start. I met Craig Jackson, and he said, a lot of people got out of this meeting to be here. A lot of powerful people, a lot of important people. I thought to myself, oh great, I have a little dinky PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to explain to them why they should care about esports. So I did, and it turns out they already did care about it. There was already talk and hype around it, and I was really happy that I didn't have to convince them that we should look into esports. They already wanted to. So I think that for me was really the turning point on, hey, we've got something here and let's see what we can do with it.
Why did you choose to take on the role of president, and did you ever have any doubts or second thoughts about it?
So when I started as having an exec role for Redbird Esports, I was in my sophomore year. I was the vice president. The president and I shared different values and different ideas on how we should take the direction of Redbird Esports, and ultimately we parted ways with that person, so I was then promoted to president. At the time, I hadn't really thought anything of it, except that, wow, everyone's going to be staring at me and counting on me to make the right decisions. And from there, I kind of just ran with it. It's not something that I really think about, but people often tell me, hey, there's a ton of people that look up to you and stare at you, and I'm like, okay, great. Really what matters to me most is that every decision we make, I want to heavily scrutinize and critique, to try to make the most people happy. So having the president's role definitely enabled me to do that, and it enabled me to create discussions and open debates on the direction that we should take the club. So it wasn't something that I put a lot of thought into it. I didn't really have any regrets. I knew I wanted to be involved in some capacity, and I was fortunate to have a blank slate going in where I could just kind of step up to the plate.
What have you learned the most throughout this process, and what is your biggest takeaway?
Wow, I have learned so much. I think something that I definitely will remember is listening to people. I used to have more of an approach where I think I have a really good idea, I'm going to tell you about it, and I really want you to go for it. I didn't give people the opportunity to voice their opinions as much. I still would listen to it, but I wouldn't really listen to it. There's a difference between letting someone have the floor, okay, great idea, next, versus really listening to what they have to say and talking about it, debating with them, challenging their own ideas. Well, have you thought of it from this perspective? Well, how about doing it this way? Or that's a great idea, but let's try a different approach. That, for me, really is what I think I got from this experience, was being able to communicate and listen to my fellow exec members and fellow members in Redbird Esports as a whole, and take what they're saying and do something with it, and not just listen to my own ideas.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process that has been made, more specifically in the more recent time?
Yeah, so super excited. Finally, one of my dreams for this program is to have an official varsity sanctioned program. Coming in fall 2020, as ISU has announced, we will have a full-blown varsity program that is supported by the institution. We have in the process of hiring a program director. I'm so excited to see this go, because this is really a milestone for our program as a whole. We've functioned at the kind of recreational level thus far. We haven't necessarily broken into the varsity level like so many other schools have. We're finally starting to get on the map, and I'm so excited to see where we'll go from here.
Looking back on it all, what are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of creating a solid foundation for the next generation of Redbird Esports members and exec members to grab the wheel. I've spent a lot of time thinking about how we will facilitate things like elections, or how games will be represented, and how to deal with toxicity, how our Discord should be laid out, social media. I've tried to lay a groundwork, at least a baseline for people to grow, to run with it, or to revamp it on their own. It's something that doesn't really get a whole lot of light, that people will just kind of come to expect as normal. And that's something that I know myself and really our whole exec team have put a lot of work in making sure that we do have the necessary things in place for if something goes wrong or someone has a question. There's now almost an FAQ for Redbird Esports where people can get answers on who we are and what we do. And that's something that I've spent a lot of time and years working towards. And I'm really happy to see it actually come to fruition.
So what is next for Jack?
I ask myself that question a lot. I am graduating. I think my last final is December 13th. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. I know now that I want to pursue esports, kind of doing a 180 from criminal justice. I've been in some interviews. I'm trying to find a way to still stay in it and still pursue it. Quite recently, I think a couple of days ago, I'm going to try to apply to graduate school to ISU, looking into the recreational administration program. It's something that I think would really give me the tools and skills to be successful in the world of esports, as there's a ton of people right now trying to get into esports, and I think what sets people apart is the people that have a lot of passion for it and that are good at it, and the people that have a lot of passion for it but are also educated and can make smart, intelligent decisions on things like marketing, sponsorships, coaching, even facilitating student volunteers and internships, and paying them, learning how to do that, learning how to install software, what computers do you buy. There's all these things that kind of culminate, and I think going into something like sports management or recreational administration will give me the tools to be successful.
So what advice do you have for any ISU students or students across the country looking to get more involved with college esports?
I think if there isn't esports on your campus, the easiest way to do it is just to get started. There is so much grunt work that has to be done, quite literally like almost manual labor-esque, that somebody physically has to go and do. You physically have to type something. You physically have to go to this location. And I find myself saying this a lot. Everyone has great ideas. Oh, we should do this, we should do that. But when it comes time to actually doing it, very few rise to that challenge. So my advice would be to rise to that challenge. Challenge yourself to go out there and do something that makes you passionate, that gets you up in the morning, that you're happy doing. I know for me, the biggest thing in life is whatever I end up doing, I want to be happy doing it. I would rather have other things that maybe aren't going so well, but if what I'm doing in life makes me happy, then in the end, it's all worth it.
All right, now I'm going to open up the stage for you to give any last thanks or any people that you would like to give credit to.
There are a lot of people I'd like to give credit to, in no order whatsoever. Our exec board, Isaiah Perez, Skylar Hughes, Michael Lyman, Josh Moll, Marty Weber, Nick Flamini, Chad Capelli, Allison Bender, Tyler Emkin, Don Pote, Paul Unsby, Craig Jackson, Charlie Adamala, Jenna Albridge, Rob Bailey, Russ Hamer, and Sam Hepner. I think I'll leave it at that.
And I just want to give you a big thank you from all of us here at Redbird Esports. Without your vision and dedication, none of this would be possible. And like you talked about, the groundwork has been laid, and there's going to be plenty of students who are so thankful for what you've given us and the groundwork that we have here. But with that, this is all the time we have for today. Thank you for talking with us, Jack. If you're listening to us through YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe, or give us a follow if you're listening on SoundCloud. Unfortunately, this is the last episode of the semester, but don't worry, we'll be back next after winter break with exciting new guests and topics. We hope to see you then. I'm Skylar, and this has been the Bird Herd.